Destiny now just to get the clap out of the way real quick?
Okay.
All right. I am starting a Destiny now. How about you?
Yeah.
Okay. On 1, 2, 3, clap then. 1, 2, 3, clap. Easy enough. Yay. All right, let me pull out the chat. Let's see. Got the show notes. Oh man, I am actually feeling pretty good. Like I was groggy up until about an hour ago. Like I was like, I can barely open my eyes. And then I wrote like a fucking book about our D&D campaign last session. And then it's like, I'm awake. Also, I cleaned my area a little bit. And I got my Pro Controller charging up because I want to use that for Splatoon. Did you want to join us right after? I know you said you only wanted to put about an hour in.
Yeah, I really can only put about an hour, but I might. How long are you guys gonna be playing for?
Honestly, we're probably gonna play for about an hour. My wrists start hurting after playing that damn game.
Okay, yeah, then I'll join in straight after then. It's just if it's gonna be about an hour, that's fine. Then I can worry about food after.
I'm gonna say an hour, maybe. I would say probably at the most 2 hours because the game is fun, but only in short bursts. Also, I haven't played since the last time we played, so it's
I have to reset up my Switch. So
oh,
it's
hey,
now because of
Elgato.
the.
You want to start streaming?
No, I'm not streaming that.
Oh,
yeah, stream kind of died when I stream a game that I hate.
wait,
Except
what?
I don't hate Splatoon. But I'm not.
The stream died when the stream became what you hate.
No, the stream died when I was playing something I didn't like.
Oh, Uno?
Fuck that game.
Damn, dude. I mean, I think everybody else had fun. It's just you apparently were miserable. But to be honest, it was kind of hard watching you getting super salty like that over on Overwatch. I'm not sure if people actually enjoy watching that kind of stuff, but opinions, man.
Yeah, that's Overwatch. That happened. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, especially with Overwatch.
Let's see. I better add League of Legends because I was forced to play.
Oh, interesting.
What's that?
You're forced to play a game that you don't particularly enjoy. Interesting. Very interesting.
It turns out, though, I had fun because I was playing with somebody I like.
Yeah, no, that doesn't change if when the game's shit.
What's up?
That doesn't change when a game is shit.
I'm sorry, but in terms of how good a game is, I gotta say Uno's got to be a lot better than League of Legends.
Well, I don't like MOBAs anyway, so it's a hard pick. It's really a toss up. It depends on how I'm feeling that day.
Okay, cool. Do you want to host or would you like me to? Because I'm totally down for hosting if you're not feeling it.
I'll do it.
Actually, you hosted last episode.
Yeah, but if we're doing the thing next week,
we're gonna have him host.
Oh, hey, by the way, it's your turn this week. He's like, what? Yeah, don't you know we take turns every week, so now it's your turn.
Oh, can we totally do that?
We can do it. Down.
Let's fucking make him host.
Okay, cool. Then host away, Tyler. That'd be a good ending to the season.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's glorious.
Okay.
Excuse me. All right. Well, since I can't vape for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, I better. You remind me of Kim Jong-un. That's the hairstyle. I was wondering where I saw it last.
Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, I watched The Dictatorship recently, and I really enjoyed that movie, and I'm like, I want that hairstyle.
I was thinking it was like maybe you saw it like more recently at the World Summit or something like that, and You're
I
like,
may be a world traveler, but I don't go to those things. It's too bourgeois for me.
fair enough, fair enough. You are a man of class.
Um,
Also, it's kind of exotic, you know, for a place that has no internet. You know, you wanted to mimic the hairstyle there. It's, you know, faraway lands kind of feel. Stranger in a strange land.
sure. I just wanted it short, and he still messed it up a little bit, kind of, in my opinion. But I know it looks good now.
Of course, 100 kilometers away is also the biggest internet source in the world. So I guess you got that too.
Yeah. Oh, they're selling small versions of this now. So I picked up some.
I got to get off that stuff.
As glorious as it is, I'm tired of it now.
Like, oh, I mean, I'm still on it's glorious kind of mindset, but A, I'm getting vape tongue from it, so I'm not tasting the flavor as much. And B, it's, as we all talked about already, it's so sweet that it's burning through my coils like a motherfucker. And I think I told you I got the quintuple coils.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I can't even do it 80 to 100 for more than like 2 hours before the coil burns out. Even after proper priming, I got to keep it at 60 so I can have it for 2 days. And I burnt through all 3 of them this week very quickly. It was upsetting. Also, I probably should have texted my wife and asked her to, whoa, what's happening outside? Let me check the weather outside. It looks kind of gloom and doom out there. I'm sure it'll be fine. Oh, shit. I gotta send you the link in the chat so you see what I'm seeing. If you look at that, I'm near where Saginaw is.
The fuck is that?
That's a big ass storm system.
Where the fuck is? Oh, Saginaw's right there.
Right. I'm just like 10 miles north of that, near where it says 23.
Well, it hasn't hit purple levels yet, so I guess you're okay.
Sure. Well, good thing this thing is recording over the internet too, as well as local, in case things shut off. However, the nice thing is I have lost power in the house, but my computer holds enough power in it that when it turns back on after a second, everything's good. Saved me a lot of days in Stardew. Well, just one. It only happened once.
Right.
I'm gonna say I'm not gonna over exaggerate. Okay. Well, I think we gave everybody enough time. Think we are all set. I'm feeling pretty good. Do you want to grab any coffee or anything real quick? You got a couple of minutes. Holy shit, it is super windy out there. Thought yesterday was bad. This might be worse. This fucking heat wave is causing vacuums in the air pressure. It's just causing rapid storms to come in.
All right, Mr. Science. Ugh.
Do I have to go meteorologist on your ass and explaining how like cold fronts and warm fronts, depending on how they're afflicted, can cause violent storms?
No, because we learned about this years ago, and I remember things unlike most Americans.
Okay. Okay. I see how it is. I see how it is.
I said most. That
Most.
doesn't include you.
Nerd.
Fucking nerd.
Thank you, Nick, in the chat.
Wow, dude, learning about weather? What a nerd, dude.
I know, right? How dare I like remember shit from science over in 6th grade?
I was actually having a conversation about this with my cousin yesterday, on how certain shows in the US, like taking MythBusters as an example, because MythBusters is really just a lot of explosions over and over again. Like they'll show the same explosion or the same thing breaking down or going wrong from 3 different angles or whatever.
Yeah.
And the idea, or at least to me, it seems like the more popular shows that are sciencey are explaining such basic concepts that most people with okay observational skills would have noticed. that they have to add in explosions to make it look interesting for people to learn. And that's sad.
I just figured that Adam Savage just had a surplus of C4 he just was dying to use.
Given that's probably true as well.
Did you hear about the Cannonball episode that landed them a lawsuit?
No, but that doesn't surprise me.
They were testing, like they were on an island at one point, testing a cannon during a one of their episodes, and when they fired it, it shot a lot further than they expected. Past an open field, about a mile or so, and into somebody's house.
Nice.
Yeah, they shot a cannon in somebody's house accidentally, and after that, they had to move.
Nice.
Yep, good times, good times. All right, I think got two Nicks by my side, like as Force Ghosts. I think I'm ready. Are you ready, Nick? Oh man, that peer pressure. Now I gotta. Thank you for teaching me that one. I call it the bullhorn maneuver.
Handlebars.
Ah, the handlebars. Okay, the Robotnik. Yeah, Sonic. Let's see. And here I thought that was a fact, and to the same degree, a high fantasy show needs to have endless porn to keep people interested. Man, I kind of wish they made another season of High School DxD. Okay, anyways. Aloha, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Master Quest. This is going to be episode 59. Today is going to be July 22nd. I'm going to be your host today, Tyler Vidito, aka Two Times Tyler. But don't you worry, I am partnered by my awesome co-host, Nick, aka LR11.
Who's that?
Nick, what happened? Tell me the story. Who hurt you?
Nobody hurt me. I've just been looking for a cleaner name for a while, at least for like socials. And usually, a majority of my friends usually just call me LR from the LR Warrior. I really like the number 11, and I felt like the Warrior part was a little too aggro, a little too, macho for my liking.
Really? You, Nick,
Yeah.
you never saw yourself as like the warrior type nowadays?
No, like listen, I'm a salty rager. I'm a little bit toxic sometimes, but I'm not like an aggressive person usually. Not even like IRL. Like I'm a softie for the most part. Online it's something else.
It is. I agree.
But I
I
am
could
a
not defend you
softie.
if you said otherwise.
And I again like I just really like 11. I like the LR, so I just kept them. Yeah.
I know the LR part,
Yeah.
but why 11? Is there just a fancy reason why you liked 11?
No, I just really like the number. It's like it's nice. It's just like it's simple. Like you can do so much with that. It's just nice. It's just a number. I just like it.
I'm kind of like that with the number 13. Back when I was in the swimming team, we would have these fancy, I don't know what you'd want to call them, but they're kind of like, imagine the Organization 13 robes that you get in Kingdom Hearts kind of thing, where it was plush on the outside, but it was furry on the inside. So
Right.
whenever we were out of the pool and we try to keep our swords warm, we'd wear these things, and they were numbered. And I end up getting number 13, and people on the team are like, that's unlucky. You're going to have bad luck. And I sought out to prove them wrong. And so when I started winning my races and then I threw on number 13, I was like, maybe 13 is my lucky number. And so I have such a fascination with the number 13, despite, people associating it with, the bad, naughty
Right.
number. And even to this day, in fact, if I could be 13 times Tyler, I mean, I kind of sound like Xehanort from the Kingdom Hearts 3 thing, but I honestly, I don't know why I called myself. Well, I know what I called myself 2 times Tyler. I know, but that's my secret. That's
Right.
DLC for another time. Nick, how's your week been like, man?
It's been a rough week, Tyler. I'm gonna be honest. There's been so much going on, so much work to do, so many governments jerking me around. It's not been a great week. Um, I'm applying for my British visa for a 2-year visit visa because my sister is gonna be studying in London. Um,
Ooh.
so let me explain the process. At least for Canada, and this is
I'm gonna say
a
I have never gotten a passport before, so please explain.
And this is the same process that my dad had to go through. So basically, the British government has outsourced their visa processing, like document collection processing, to a company. Um, like the British embassies, they'll still make the decision. This company will, charge you the money. They'll collect all your information, all your documents, make sure everything's in order, take your biometrics, send it to the British embassy, your local British embassy. They'll process it, come up with a decision, either give you the visa, not give you the visa, and then send it back to you. Right.
Hmm.
So you have to start an application on one of two different websites, and then from the application you go to the company's website, and then you make an appointment, and then you go to the appointment, submit your documents, they'll take your fingerprints, and then you give them the passport, and they'll send it back to you in 2 to 3 weeks. The application fee for the first part, starting the application, was $80.
Wow. Jesus. Okay.
A 2-year visa for standard processing time, which is 10 to 15 business days, is $469.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry for any Christian listeners, but holy shit. That
Priority meaning that you'll get a decision within a week is $860.
please tell me you didn't get priority.
Absolute priority, like top tier, like platinum grade priority, where you get a decision within 24
Yeah, they
hours,
give you a foot
is
rub.
$1,500.
Good lord. Holy shit.
I got regular standard processing time for a 2-year visa, right? So far we've got $80 for the visa application fee, 470 bucks for the actual visa, like the fee for that visa, and then to book an appointment. Fortunately, they didn't charge me for that.
Thank
But then
God.
I go there, submit my documents, and I can't take my laptop in with me, so I have to check in it at security, and that's $7. And then I go in, and then their website is so shit that it wouldn't let me upload 2 documents at once. So I had to upload one of my documents. I could take physical or digital, but I had to upload at least one thing. I uploaded that, and I was trying to upload my bank statements because there was like 40 pages, and I'm not printing 40 pages. But then it didn't let me upload the bank statements properly, and so I had to print the receipt, and I had to take that receipt so I could get in. But then when I went there and I showed them the receipt, they're like, "Okay, how many documents do you have on the thing?" And I'm like, "I have 2 documents on the thing." They're like, "Well, it only shows the one document. If you We cannot take this because you have 2 documents on the website, and this receipt doesn't say you have 2 documents, so you have to come back with it." And I was at the embassy, like the office, at the end of the day already, and I'm like, motherfucker, I live 45 minutes away. I'm not gonna make it back in time. He's like, "Well, just show up tomorrow." And I'm like, "All right, I guess I'll just cancel all of my classes and just sit here tomorrow because you guys are jerking me around." And then when I got there the next day, and I'm like, "All right, I got some physical documents to sign. I'm not fucking with that website anymore. Here's the appointment letter that says I have these 2 documents uploaded." Like, "All right, $40 for us to scan these physical documents."
Wow. Do they sell you magical snake oil as well, too, Nick? Because that's fucking bullshit.
So, anyways, I'm done with that. Fuck those guys. This is gonna be worth it because I'll be able to go and see my sister whenever I want over the next 2 years. But fuck that.
I didn't realize it was that bad outside the country. I mean, I have, I guess essentially a very, as a American US born citizen, I guess, I'm really spoiled when it comes to that kind of process. I do
For
feel
most things, it's not this bad. I think it's just the British government and their visa. Like, it's just about money. The more money you can pay, the easier and faster and smoother it'll be. What a surprise! Capitalism at its finest.
I mean, looking at my passport as a U.S. citizen, I'm allowed to enter British Columbia just as much as Canada, or not British Columbia, Great Britain as much as Canada. Is that not the case with you with your passport?
Not with the Indian passport. We can't go anywhere.
Wow. I guess
I need a
Great
visa.
Britain's still
Yeah.
salty about India. Jeez, that's fucked up.
That's why
Sorry,
we
didn't
went
mean to
back
get
with them.
political
No,
there.
that's why we went back with them when they left, and now they can't get rid of us. So it's fine.
I mean,
Why the
you're
fuck do you?
even.
Why the fuck do you think they love Indian food so much? You're welcome, the Great Britain. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying, tell me you're welcome. I was like, I still got some frozen curry in the freezer for about 5 months. I haven't touched it yet, man. It's probably got freezer burn. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm not sure if that's picking up, but I'm amidst a heavy thunderstorm right now. So internet can just completely shut off at any moment.
That's fine.
Uh,
I'll just carry on the show on my own.
I mean, go on. I forgot the rest of the lyrics. What was that?
That's all I know. But yeah,
Oh,
no.
man.
So that's that. And it's really not that complicated with the other embassies. I've done this process for other embassies myself. Like for Germany, when I visited a couple of years ago, I had to apply through the Swiss consulate. Right? All I had to
Okay.
do was pay the application fee, book an appointment. I just went there. They're like, "Yo, what's up?" I'm like, "Yo, what's up? I've got some documents for you." They're like, "Yo, thanks, fam." I'm like, "No, you're welcome. Thank you for being so great about this." They're like, "No problem." They took it. 3 days later, I got my visa. As an Indian citizen to apply for a Japanese visit visa, it costs $8 for the entire thing. Eight
To
Canadian.
visit, to visit
To
Japan?
No, to like start to get my visa and like do the whole process. It cost me $8 Canadian to take care of that process.
Nick, can I say something that might be controversial?
Sure.
I think English people hate you, the government specifically.
English people hate themselves. Look at what they're doing to their own country.
That is true. That is absolutely true. I think I'm going to Brexit out of that one.
Anyways, moving past that, like it's just been a busy week with school. I had to pull an all-nighter this week that resulted in me staying awake for about 40-ish hours.
Yeah, you looked great
Yeah.
at the tail end of that.
Yeah, that was I couldn't see, like I was actually seeing double at the end. Tyler, my eyes weren't focusing.
It's like, why do I have 26 cards, Nick? You only have 13.
I had 26 at some point.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did actually.
Yeah, secret to all-nighters, folks, if you have to do it, don't do caffeine. Like really don't. You need water. You need to hydrate yourself constantly. Caffeine will just make you crash harder and it'll slow you down after a period of time. But then, I'm not a caffeine person, so I can't speak on everybody's behalf. But water is more important than caffeine.
I got to help participate in a 24-hour live stream on Twitch. And the gentleman's method to staying awake for those 24 hours was large quantities of Red Bull. And as it turns out, when you drink Red Bull for 12 hours straight to try to keep awake, when you go to sleep, you stay asleep, not like dead. Actually, there are some cases where you can drink so much caffeine that when it keeps you awake and your body can't handle it, you can, die. But no, he did that for 24 hours and then passed out. I believe he said he woke up like 16 hours in and then he went back to the bed immediately after like eating something for another 8 hours. Like he could not stay awake after that. His body crashed so hard that it took its toll. And just the syrup that comes from that kind of stuff alone will fuck you up, especially your digestive tract. Can you imagine the ulcer you're gonna get? No, fuck that. That's why I drink water.
Yeah, water is key. Last thing I did want to say is I've been accepted into a program that is going to extend my studies for another couple of months, but I will be finishing at the end of next summer. It is a program that takes it's still I'll still be studying courses and stuff, but it's a program that showcases not showcases, but it allows us to realistically apply the skills we've learned in my faculty so far. It is called Business of Design, and we'll be working in the textile industry here in Vancouver to find sustainable sources, like ethically sourced, sustainable resources for textiles, for fashion here.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I really couldn't care much about fashion or textiles, but it seems like an interesting opportunity to learn about the industry and see how some of the skills I've picked up translate over.
You would be surprised, Nick. Actually, knowing you wouldn't be surprised. You'd just be grateful. The things you can learn out of something that's not really even adjacent to the profession you're aiming for, that will somehow give you an advantage in the long run. I think it will help you a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited, which is what I was talking to about one of the ladies who's in charge of this program. Like, yeah, like the kind of transferable skills I'd be looking to gain from this would be awesome, be interesting, but it also gives me a chance to connect with local industries, see if there's actually a fit outside some of the more tech related industries that I'd like to work with, and just make connections and be a part of a team, or at least lead a team, which is what I want to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
You're gonna go big one day, Nick. Sometimes I worry that you'll forget about me. Let's see, all the way up there, not in heaven. I'm not pointing that far up. Like the third floor of a 27th floor of a skyscraper, and I'm sitting there. I'm just the janitor cleaning the bathroom, and you'll walk by, and be like, I'll tip my hat, and you just keep looking. Why I'm a janitor is beyond me, though. I mean, fuck, I was a janitor for like 5 months. I will never do that shit
I mean,
again.
at the very least, if I was to start my own company, I'd need somebody in charge of land-based logistics.
Land-based logistics.
Yeah,
You talking about Ethernet LAN, or are we talking about like
land,
land? Okay,
land.
Nick, my only experience is Terraria. What are you trying to work with here?
No, but you have experience with keeping, like, you know how to, like, you do deliveries, land-based logistics, like moving shit
Okay,
around, making
so
things get to places.
transportation and the like between
Yeah,
delivering, receiving, and shipping product.
yeah,
Okay,
logistics.
fair enough. I would be your guy.
Yeah,
Oh man, if I was a fleet
it just
manager,
means I
people
wouldn't
would.
have to pay like the big bucks for an expert. That's all it means.
I mean, if you got me like 20% above what I'm making now as a truck driver, I'd do it.
Yeah, and then you can move the whole family to Canada, dude.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a trade-off. Oh no,
Or
in
it's
a
just
place here,
me.
in a place here where all of these things aren't so great, or in a place here where there's bubble tea.
There's bubble tea and also very expensive visas, apparently. Jesus. There's a cost, man. There's a cost.
I'm
Like
pretty
you show
sure,
the bubble
like,
tea, but it's like a movie where everything's blurred on the background, and then it starts to focus in, and then you see like visa prices, car insurance prices, health rates.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, okay.
yeah. Yeah.
I'll
Anyways,
keep
Tyler, how's your week been?
I'll keep one leg over the border. How about that? I've been doing pretty good. I've been helping my wife becoming a streamer on Twitch, and it's been kind of exciting watching her. Except I haven't been really able to watch her because she does it when I'm at work. But I want to support her as best as I can. Now, Nick, when I see somebody that I love, such as you, or in this case, my wife, do something that I would, I dreamed of doing. That was one of my big dreams. I love the idea of being a streamer. I kind of put that old hat off, maybe one day. I've been really wanting to get into it, but honestly, I don't know if people would be interested in watching me play Stardew at 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. But who
I'd be
knows?
surprised.
Yeah, as it turns out. And so my wife wants to become a streamer, and she's like, I've been looking up videos. I've been learning how to, figure out how to do stuff on the Streamlabs. And I'm like, no shit. Motherfucker, I'm a professional over here. Why don't you ask me? And she's one of those, I want to learn how to do it myself. I'm like, that's perfectly okay, but just let me, show you the stuff you can do, and you decide how to, use it. And I decided to make a couple of jumps for her after Prime Day, of course, because I support the virtual picking line or picket line. And so I end up getting her a couple of things. The first thing over there you see, Nick, is a ring light.
Right.
And I thought the ring light is only supposed to be like 8 inches or something like that. That's 2 feet for me. That's 2/3 of a meter. That's a big ass light.
Yeah, that seems standard.
And we were trying to figure out how the hell to actually set it up behind our computer because the stand was so big. And then sitting behind my chair, right behind my chair, you can barely see it. Well, you can't see it. Oh, there it is. I have a soft light that's supposed to be smaller than the ring light, and it's bigger. It's 2 feet by 3 feet tall. It's a professional photographer's lighting system.
All right.
I fucked up, Nick. I was like, hey, if I Google what does Markiplier use for his videos and then just get that shit, except for the camera, because that was like $2,000. I'm sorry. I love my wife, but I don't want to buy her something more expensive than her wedding ring for something like that. And I get that. I thought, just throw it behind the desk. Everything's going to be great. As it turns out, Markiplier must have a butt fuck ton of space behind his computer that we don't get to see because that takes up a lot of space. And so her and I need to talk and figure out, a new setup for computer area because we want to give her the space so she can stream with all that stuff. And I really want to support her on that. So we got that going on. It's been fun. I think she's having a good time teaching her how the green screen and all that stuff. That I just love, showing her all the magic tricks that you can learn, doing this kind of stuff. And this week, a lot of wild shit has been going on with the weather over here in Michigan.
Damn
yesterday,
Russians.
You say Russians?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Damn Chinese.
Chinese. How many other countries do you want to alienate here? What's the joke?
Don't you know, Tyler? Somebody's fabricating the climate change.
Yeah, it's called America, dumbass.
No, that's untrue. According to a certain somebody, that is factually untrue, Tyler. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. There are other countries responsible for the troubles that we're going through in terms of the climate. Climate change is not real.
I'm sorry, but my public defender, aka Al Gore, has my back on this one. We are screwing ourselves over here.
That's a hard disagree, like most of America apparently would disagree.
Well, yeah, public opinion doesn't matter here. What does public opinion matter to facts, Nick?
Nothing, especially when facts don't apparently fucking matter to anybody. Or at least the people in charge.
Look, when people want to get informed, they go to the news. News wants to sell the story, not the truth. Al Gore is there to give us the holy light that is knowledge.
Well, that hasn't helped you. No, I can't say that. That hasn't helped.
Hasn't helped my what?
No, not you. I'm not gonna. It's a little too far. I'm not gonna say that.
Is it political, Nick?
Yeah.
Ooh, sounded political alarm.
I mean, this has all been like just vaguely alluding to politics, anyways. But no, like that would have been like a direct mention. I'm not gonna say that.
Ooh, good save,
Yeah.
good save.
Yeah, I'm not gonna alienate our viewers or listeners already more than I already have.
So right now, I'm having a thunderstorm, which is fantastic. But yesterday, the day before we streamed, which would be Friday for us, there was a heat wave that hit all of Michigan, and it fucking sucked.
How high did it go?
What's up?
How high did it go?
Let me do the little
I'm ready.
translation.
Just hit me with the firmament height, dude.
Nick, yesterday it was 37.7 degrees Celsius.
Oof.
It sucked. I'm sure you probably got hit by something like that in Florida. Like, problem is though, for somebody like you and me, like up in Michigan, getting hit by that in pure humidity because we live around the lakes, it is like a death wave. It fucking sucked. Because, us snowbirds, we don't like -5 Fahrenheit, but we'll deal with it. We're used to the cold. We're not used to heat, typically, unless you're near Detroit, because Detroit is like, I don't know if it's like nuclear radiation or what, but it's always 10 degrees warmer over there. So I can only imagine what Detroit got if we were 100 degrees up here in Bay City. And something magical happened, Nick. I started my route, did 2 stops. That 95, 100 degrees was just fucking just blasting me in the face. It was horrible, but I was ready for it. I had all sorts of water and stuff. And then I get to my 3rd store. And then it started raining. Because weather is fucking magic, Nick.
Yeah, it's so hot that it was pulling in all the fucking moisture.
Oh, someone's smart over here with their weather knowledge. Look at me. I'm Nickel. I know all the weather facts. Okay, Nick. But yes, you're right. And so I get there, it starts heavy downpouring, and I put my hand out in the window. And Nick, I understood what you meant by the Florida rain effect. When you have 100-degree water hitting you from 100-degree air, hell is here. Like the rapture must have come. It's like if I step outside, I either catch on fire or I melt. I don't know which one yet. This is
Why
boiling
not
water.
both?
Where are the frogs and the locusts at this point? Where's the plagues?
Yeah, hot water's rough, dude.
And this happened as soon as I started when it started raining. I checked it, it was miserable. But something magical happened. I look at the temperature gauge that is on my truck because I can read the outside temperature without, rolling down the window. Sitting there, I first look, I see 98, 93, 88, 85, 80. I'm like, is Frozen being casted here? What the fuck's going on? It's cooling down. And before I know it, it's 75 degrees. I stick my hand out again. I'm chilly, sticking my hand out, getting hit by cold rain. It dropped almost 25 degrees. It was beautiful. Nick,
yeah, that doesn't sound like Florida. Florida just stays hot.
No, Michigan is a magical place, and it takes care of our own. Oh, my wife just came in. How's the thunderstorm out there? She's doing great, everybody. Oh, is that for me?
Assume so.
Hey, I got a package, everybody. Live on air. Tyler's going to open a pack. No, that's a lot of tape. Oh, and a Powerade. Man, see, Michigan is magical. Actually, Is that the thing where somebody does something and they say thank God instead of thank the person that did it? Thank you, Amanda.
Your wife is magical.
Yeah, you are.
Standing at the back door because it's locked.
That's weird. Do we have a lock on our door?
Did you let the dog out?
Dog didn't want to be let out. It was raining.
You got up at 3.
How do you know I got up at 3?
You always get up at 3.
Fuck. She caught me. I've been ratted out.
I put my purse in a plastic bag so it wouldn't get drenched.
Okay.
So my keys were inside, and I'm standing in the rain.
In the arms of an angel. Hey guys, I got frames. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Here, can you hang this up? They're supposed to hold my happiest memories. That's why they're empty. Anyways, the rain was magical. I got through that. Helped my wife stream. She's been having a lot of fun with it, and she's actually a little frustrated because setting it up was a nightmare for her. But I've been having a good week. But Nick, hey, video games. This is a video game podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget, but let's remember. Nick, what did you get to play this week?
I got to play Uno.
You got to play Uno. I got to play Uno too. We played together.
Yes, we did.
It was fun, Nick, right?
I hate Uno, Tyler.
You hate Uno.
Hate it so much.
Okay. Would you mind humoring the audiences listening how you could hate Uno? I've never heard anybody say they hate Uno before. So this is actually flabbergasting.
All right, the actual card game itself, nobody plays by the actual rules. And I hate it. Everybody
play by the rules?
No, nobody plays by the actual rules.
But we did last night. You should have loved it, right?
I'm talking about the actual card game itself, like the physical card game.
Okay.
Nobody plays by the actual rules. There is a set of rules that Uno has put out, included with the card game, like most other games. But every single time I've played Uno, people play with their own made-up rules, and I hate it.
Now, when you say made-up rules, are you talking about like the 7-0?
No, I'm talking about like stacking.
Stacking, jumping.
Yeah, I hate those things. I can't it's never been fun for me. I'd especially when I go to like different houses and people have their own variations of the rules. I'm like, there's one set of rules. Why can't you just play with those rules? Why do we have to play with your rules?
So stacking, aka I put a draw 2 down, you put a draw 2 down, it keeps going. That's stacking to you?
Yes.
That's actually been a rule that I've known since I was born.
I'm
So it's
pretty
weird
sure
that-
that's not an actual rule.
I mean,
Again, like I said, people have
Ubisoft
made
says
up,
otherwise, but what do I know, right?
but then Ubisoft didn't make Uno.
No, they just own it. The game,
I
right? Pretty sure
I-
like Hasbro owns the game. Actually, who
Yeah, I
owns
just-
Uno?
I just don't like the game. I mean, I do, but then I just don't like it because everybody plays with different rules and it's just
Natural.
stupid. And yeah,
Well, I'm sorry
I
that
could also
you
be
don't
completely
enjoy.
wrong too.
What's up?
I could be entirely wrong too, but I'm just pretty sure that there's some things that people do that aren't actually rules.
Yeah, there's a lot of house rules that get made into that kind of stuff, and I totally understand. And Nick, I'm sorry that you don't enjoy the game. I respect that if you don't want to play it again. Is there certain types of card games that you do enjoy?
Yeah, have you heard of Obsessed with Success?
No, please tell me about it. I missed the side quest.
No, like card games, I enjoy poker. I really do.
Like Texas Hold'em kind of poker?
Yeah,
or-
Texas Hold'em, just standard Texas Hold'em. And there are a few other, like, I don't know the names of them because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of like just general, like, you know, normal deck card games that I've played across cultures, but then we all have different names.
Okay. Solitaire. Do you like Solitaire?
No, solitaire not so much. What was what
Rummy.
I'm thinking of? Big Two. We at least that's what me and my friends call it. I don't know what it's actually called.
Fuck Big Two.
No, exactly. So it's kind of like you go around and you put down like you'll put down a 3 and then somebody will put down a 4 and then you have to keep going higher. But then the 2 is the highest card and that clears everything. But then it also goes by suits have different powers too, like different strength. Like there's a hierarchy there.
Have you heard of Rummy?
I've heard of Rummy.
What about Euchre?
Not heard of that.
Old Maid?
No,
Go Fish.
I'm familiar with it through like cartoons.
Oh, okay. I mean, this is, I guess technically American origin card game, so it makes sense that you would have your own. How about
Well-
Speed?
No, Speed. I used to play Speed in high school.
War.
No.
Really? Not War?
I mean, again, if you were to sit and explain some of the rules of these games to me, I'd probably tell you that I know it by a different name, which is what I mean. Like, especially with these card games, we just have different names for some of them.
War is purely chance. Essentially, you and one other person has a deck of cards. You draw the top when you put it down, and whichever one is higher, that player wins both those cards. And if you were to put down the same like value card, then you go to the war where you put more cards behind that and then see who wins the best out of 3.
Yeah, so like we know it by something else. So actually, we didn't call it anything. We just played that.
We call it peace and love. But America's like, war, baby, 1776.
Like with other games, like I like Exploding Kittens. One of my favorite ones. Monopoly Deal,
Exploding
which is what our game was based on. I don't know. I can't like I'd be full of shit if I said that the amount of chance in Uno is pissing off and like you just get screwed. You can do that with our game. You can do that with Exploding Kittens. You can do that with Monopoly Deal, but there's like a built-in assurances to ensure that you can always at least do something each round. But then Uno, you just get tossed around. Like if you're unlucky, you just get tossed around like you're a fucking Caesar salad.
Right. Like the game is based off the idea that in order for you to progress, there is a chance that you can, stop another person. And the idea of that, competitive spirit, I mean, I'm just trying to think like how to really explain that. Like the idea was based off like way back in the day when it came out. It came out in 1971, first off.
Right.
And so I guess, during that day, it's like, screw your friends. Not literally, because, that's bad. You'll burn in the eyes of God. But, mess with your friends and have fun by being competitively the best. Who needs to work together when you can knock back
But
your
it's-
players?
But it's not competitive though. With that amount of RNG, it really isn't competitive because there's nobody's on like even playing field.
I've seen so many times, especially with the game, that it's got to be mechanically weighted to where if like the next player is gonna go out and the game knows that, but the player before it doesn't, and they don't have any cards and they have to draw, they're gonna draw a draw 2 or a draw 4. It's almost guaranteed. Like the game is designed for you to play as long as possible, and it's frustrating that they do it that way because there's been so many times where it's like, just end us, but then if there's force play on and you're forced to play the card you draw, it's like, I'm sorry, buddy, I'll change it to the color you want, but you got to draw 4. And it's like, you're fucked. And it's like, you got to beat the game as well as the other players.
Right. Yesterday, or like our last game, how long did we play that for? Like 20, 25 minutes?
The good ones, yeah. A little bit longer.
Like that last one that we played, I had the chance to end it about 6 minutes in.
Why didn't you, Nick?
Because fuck that game.
So...
Yes.
The game is bad to you, but Nick, were you an asshole player?
Yes, 100%. I was drawing cards when I didn't need to.
So, and you say fuck Uno, I say fuck you. Oh,
that's fine. I just wanted to fucking play Destiny after like I got off stream, but then you guys were giving me so much shit, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll play Uno. Because I'm conflicted between spending time with my friends, but also wanting to play what I want. But then they're like, no, we're playing this. But I'm like, I don't want to play that.
That's fair. Okay. You were also heavily sleep deprived at the time, so I'm sure that made things much, much worse for you.
Yeah. I will say though, it's fun watching people play Uno, like the digital version. Because I like seeing people get fucked by a game. Like I enjoyed that, but I don't want to be in that.
Okay. I don't know what to say to you, Nick. For somebody with such a vigorous competitive spirit that likes to get salty, this game is almost pure salt, depending on how you want to play it.
But again, it's like a BR. You can't be competitive with the BR because it's like when you land, you're like, hey, look, I found this pistol. You turn around, there's a guy with a rocket launcher there aiming right at you. You can't be competitive you can't be competitive in a playing field that's not even, there's no assurances for you to like at least be somewhat okay in certain situations, and you just don't start off in a somewhat even like keel playing field.
I mean, if you draw more cards, that just gives you more opportunity to draw cards that you could also dish out to other people.
But then you can't do anything when you get skipped on. You can't stop anybody from jumping in and changing the turn order. You can't somebody from constantly hitting the reverses and you just not going for like 6 or 7 turns. There's just some things you can't do anything against.
This reminds me of a time in Dungeons and Dragons, Nick. And this made me vow to never play while this person's the dungeon master. And I hope they're not listening because I don't want them to feel bad. But there was a point where I was in a fight. I was playing as Ushrix, no less. This was the final big fight. And the dungeon master casted a spell that stunned me for 10 rounds, Nick. 10 rounds. Our battles last about 45 minutes, and they last about 4 rounds.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, is there any way I can save out of this? And he's like, no, you're just stunned. And I was like, for 10 rounds? Are you sure? Because the character that you're using here only says for 1 round. He's like, no, 10 rounds. And so I had to sit there, skip down to my turn for 10 rounds, doing absolutely nothing because my character was stunned. And that was so frustrating being, having to sit out of a game I'm supposed to be participating and enjoying. There's no role play to be had, not doing anything for 45 minutes straight. And so maybe it's not as bad in Uno, but it still can get kind of bad. I guess I never really cared that much about whether or not I got skipped or reversed. Maybe you're too competitive, Nick.
Maybe. Like, I just don't like it. I don't like it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anything else that you've been playing?
I mean, I played a little Overwatch. I hadn't really played Destiny this week, so I wanted to do some of that, but didn't get around to. And I wanted to play I played a little bit of Littlewood, I think. Littlewood, I feel like I've hit a what do you call it? A block, like a plateau, with how much I can do. Because Littlewood is a little bit more. Maybe I will stream a new character one day, but a little bit more creative. because you can design how your town looks. Like you can set it up as high as you want. You can as many river. You can have a river coursing through it, a big old pond. You put people's houses wherever, because people also, when you have a new townsperson and you have you go into their house, you can set up a diary for them. Like you can build an item that is a diary, and then they'll list down their goals on, I want to be this far from this place, I want to be this close to this place, this is the kind of bed I want, this is the kind of wallpaper I want, and then you do those little objectives for each character, and that gives you more rewards. And so then you can go into like full like planning and organizing. All right, this guy wants to be so far from the marketplace, but he wants to be really close to the tavern, but this person wants to be so close to the tavern but also this far away from the hot air balloon. So how do I plan the layout for all these other buildings too, while thinking about the layout of the villagers, the townspeople houses? So that's never been for me, which is part of why I'd never been like into Minecraft as well, because it's a lot of like creation things that it's just not my thing. So we'll see how much more I can get into Littlewood.
So if you had to play 2 hours of Uno or 2 hours of Minecraft, which one would you do?
Uno.
Really? I
Yeah.
honestly was expecting to say Minecraft, and I would just sit there and die.
Yeah, no,
Just
Uno.
Well, okay. Lesser of two evils in that case. I respect that. At least you could hate that versus just sitting there being bored.
At least Uno looks like a game.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I still wish I had Minecraft, man. I've been playing. I know. There's a joke there. I've been playing Uno as well. We talked a fair length about it. I've been trying to spend a little bit more time with one of my favorite streamers. His name in game is Reza, but I know him as Glenn. Glenn Houston. He is a fun, hell of a heck of a time fellow. He loves D&D. He loves playing, games that I enjoy, like for example, Stardew Valley and League of Legends and all that. Like, and so he's been trying to get a better, like, a closer knit community by inviting people that are hanging out with in his channel and whatnot to play games with him.
Right.
And the problem is, though, whenever he's wanted to play Stardew Valley or something like that, I'm typically not on. But the times that he also plays League of Legends, well, I guess that's not true. I've been able to join him on Stardew Valley, but usually I only have like an hour or two, and that's just not enough time for somebody who wants to stream for 6 or so hours and then just has somebody bail on him.
Right.
And then he plays League of Legends when I'm at work. So I let him know, it's like, hey, if you ever want to switch it up and play League of Legends in the afternoon before I go to work, I'll play with you. And he jumped on that a lot harder than I was expecting. He's like, oh, I'm trying to play ranked games. I need a support. It's like, I'll support. I don't mind being support. I won't play ranked, though. You're not catching me anywhere near ranked. And I had to explain to him, it's like, I play nothing but A-Rants, all random, all mid. I don't play those Summoner Rift games because they're really serious, and I just can't handle that. Because often enough, if I do a minor goof up, or maybe a novice mistake, I will get flamed to hell and back. And then I'll have the meta rule book that, the top 5,000 players have made in their head shoved down my throat like a giant dick. And there's no lubricant for that. And it's just very intimidating. So we started playing A-Rims, and I did fantastic. And he's like, wow, you're great. We're going to play tomorrow. Okay, sure. So next day, I didn't really think about it. He's like, hey, we're playing, right? You want to play a league? And I'm like, Stardew Valley. I see a stream, and he's playing League of Legends. It's like, oh, Tyler, you're here. I'm sick of playing with these people. You got to play with me. And so I play with them. And I do terrible.
Nice.
And it's like, I had a great day the day before. I did terrible this day. Just one of those days. I blame the heat wave.
Yeah.
And, what really sucks, and this is a really concerning thing, League of Legends crashed on me twice, once on each day. And I've never had that happen before until I started playing with them. It's one of those, come too quickly. Hey, I've never had that happen with the lady before kind of situation. So it's like he could believe me if he wanted to, but I have no way to prove. I've never had this problem where it froze on the loading screen until I played with him. It was heartbreaking trying to explain to him, I'm sorry, I got to restart my computer. I'm going to start the game without me for the 3 to 5 minutes. It's like a really dickish move for somebody who's trying to stream with their friends, and I'm screwing them over.
Right.
So I reinstalled League of Legends. I'm doing all the fancy stuff. I'm trying to fix whatever the hell that problem is. Had a good time, hoping to play a little bit more with him. And not, speaking of which, I'll say it right now. We're going to have Glenn Houston, aka Razeth, on the stream, the podcast next week.
Yay.
Yay. We're going to have a guest. Somebody who loves Dungeons & Dragons, Stardew Valley, League of Legends, and many, many more games. He's, a great person. I'll let him describe himself once we have him hop on, but actor, podcaster, streamer, you name it, he does it with a lot of creativity and passion. And holy smokes, do I love his accent from Kansas. Delicious. Yay. Anyways, beyond that, played some Stardew. I'll give you my Stardew update. I'm currently at 186 hours on Steam right now, Nick. I am in spring of year 4.
Okay. I've never gotten that far. I don't think I've gotten past year 2.
Apparently, a lot of people have gotten that far. I'm pretty sure I might be past my wife. And so...
Dangerous territory, Tyler.
Oh, shit, she turned and looked at me! You heard that.
I'm in year 5, Hope.
Oh, she's in... Okay.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. I know.
Fucked, Tyler.
Get wrecked, son. Get wrecked, husbando. And so I've made a little bit over 24 million so far. And my last main goal is to get the clock. Woohoo. And it's because it's the biggest thing and the most expensive thing in the game. And so I just hit...
What does the clock do?
If I understand correctly, as the way my wife has described it, fences do not degrade. And every time there's a season change, there won't be any of that fancy, shit in the ground like logs and rocks and whatnot. So you'll get a clean start every time, a season changes.
Yeah.
And so I feel like 10 million's way too much for something like that, but it's the end all be all item. Once you get that, you beat Stardew Valley in my head.
Right.
And so I am currently set up. I'm on the second day of spring. I'm in the process of making this happen. I have a farm that is large enough to hold 1,500 crops. I also have enough sheds and kegs to take 800 of those and turn them into wine. And so the putting nothing but ancient fruit into spring, which grows through spring, summer, fall, it's pretty much go mode for a min-maxing like as much as I can without doing the most work. This is going to be a lot of money.
Right.
A lot of money. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get into like the end of summer. I'm going to get the clock, and that's going to be the end of it because I beat the fucking game essentially. And Amanda in the chat, aka my wife, is saying, what about the secret notes? A couple of things happened. I discovered I needed to actually encounter a character named Krobus. I've talked to him plenty of times in the sewer, but you have to initiate a scene where you find him in a bush. Then he gives you a magnifying glass, and then you start collecting secret notes. So the past 2 years, I could have totally talked to him this entire time to get those secret mysterious notes started. I totally skipped out. And so I've been trying to collect them, throughout the time, but it's been kind of rough. Honestly, I don't know how things are going to go. I still have way too much fucking iridium ore and bars to know what I'm going to do with them. And
well, it's time to start over.
What the fuck did you just say?
Start over with a different farm.
No.
Well, that's Stardew Valley. You have to experience all the different farms.
If I do that,
fishing farm, you've got the mining farm, you've got the woods farm, you've got the monster.
I got the fishing master achievement by catching all the fish.
Nice. Did you catch all the legendary ones too?
Yes.
Nice.
It gives it to you if you catch all the fish, excluding the ones in the submarine during the night market thing. But I caught those as well, and so I got a fancy eye patch, that shows that I caught every single type of fish in the game.
Right.
So, that was my also a big joy. And Amanda in the chat's shouting about starting a new farm multiplayer and all that stuff.
Which I'd be down for as soon as my semester ends.
Right, because Destiny 2 will make you happy, Uno will not, and neither will Stardew Valley with your friends. I respect that. And so that's been all the games I've been playing for this week. Is there anything else
Whoa,
you
I
want to talk
like playing Stardew Valley with my friends. What do you mean?
Right, because you've spent a single in-game day with me.
I've barely touched video games this week, Tyler. I think I've put about 4 hours into video games this week, and those 4 hours were on stream.
Okay.
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 I'll miss you. All right, anyways. Let's go into the modular segment, my man. You set out the mod segment for this one. Are you ready for this shit?
Yes.
Let's fucking do it. Apex Legend is punishing cheaters by making them face against each other.
Yep.
Holy shit, that's hilarious.
Right. So, for ever since its launch, Apex has had a bunch of issues on the background side. A lot of technical issues like going into the game files and making it so that you can't see muzzle flash, like you changing the actual configuration file so that you can't see muzzle flash. There's a character called Bangalore that can put down smoke screens so you can change it so you don't see any of that smoke. Like the game just doesn't render it for you. It's actually pretty broken. And I'm pretty sure that they fixed a bunch of that. But then that also meant that there was holes and cracks for cheaters, hackers to exploit by coming up with, aimbot files and programs and whatnot. Yeah, I know how it works entirely, apparently. Aimbot files, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, of course. I know how that stuff, I support the cheating and botting.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, please don't believe that.
Yeah, before we get, whatever.
I've never
filed
botted
against us.
cheated in a game in my life.
Yeah, okay.
I don't Pokemon Go what you're talking about.
So there's this site, this Chinese streaming platform, I'm pretty sure, called DouYu. And you could usually tell who a cheater is because they'd be in your game getting all the kills and they'd be sorry. Okay, I'm saying it DouYu because it's DOYOU together as one word. Maybe it's DouYu, DouYa. I don't speak Mandarin or Cantonese, so I couldn't tell you what the romanization would sound like. And then followed by a bunch of numbers, like just a random string of numbers, and be like 8, 9 at least. So, and you could tell because when somebody kills you, you can watch their kill cam, and then you just see them just snapping to targets and then not missing a single shot ever, or snapping to targets through buildings and cliff sides on the other side of the map. And so this has been a real problem, especially because BR is off late, as we've talked about quite often. Are competitive, their competitions, their tournaments. So Apex Respawn has decided that they're gonna make cheaters queue into the same lobby against each other.
That's, again, hilarious. Do the players actually know that this is happening?
Well, I mean, this was a public announcement, but I don't know if there's like an in-game notification saying that they're going to be going into the same lobby because Respawn, I believe, has been... Actually, I don't know how quick they've been, but they have been regularly banning people, finding the cheaters and banning them because they introduce a report system and then they help you find them out. Because there's just some things like they go into their configuration files and they change it so that they can move at 6 times the speed. And so you'll see a person get a kill and then just cross the map in a matter of seconds.
Jesus. That's fucked. Man, an extension to this whole topic, your question is, what other smart/silly ways could developers incorporate to fight cheaters? Now, honestly, I'd rather just ban them. But at the same time, if you do that, then they know they can stop. And if it's a free game, you just make another fucking account.
Right.
You change your IP, maybe.
I wrote this question because I saw a thread on Twitter the other day. Like, you get a superpower, but something like shitty happens along with that superpower. And there was an example that I was reading that I cannot for the life of me remember right now. But I'm like, what would be like a cool thing to have done, but that's also really stupid. Um, because as you said, you can't just ban players, especially with a game that is free like Apex, because people can just make new accounts as many as they want. So, short of IP banning them, what could you do? Because an IP ban can be avoided if a cheater is smart by using a VPN.
Just put them in an infinite queue.
Infinite queue. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Where does let's say for example in Apex Legends, is there a confirm after like a queue pops?
No.
Okay, so it just tosses you in once things get started.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I was just curious. Like I imagine like an Apex Legend, you got to queue up and you got to wait for 4 people to join the squad at least, right?
It's 3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
if you
so
go
I,
in with if you just go in yourself, it fills you with other people. If you go in with 2, it fills you with one other person. If you go in with 3, you just go straight into the queue whenever it's ready.
so what happens if it like pops in somebody with a completely random name, and then as soon as the second one pops, somebody else just randomly leaves, and it just does that until the player quits.
Well, that wouldn't work because it would take you. So how it works is if you queue up alone, you'll see like sitting in the queue, waiting to find players, It'll find the players and it'll take you into the character selection screen, which is then when you find out who you're playing with. But then by then you're in the game already, so even if they leave, you're still gonna go into the game.
When's instead of hurting somebody, your shots healed them?
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Heal.
that like he's a known cheater because all right, look, if you're gonna IP, let's say you have a 13-year-old kid, right? The whole family, like he's got brothers, sisters, parents even play games, right? Let's say so it's a family of like 8, right? And then they all
Jesus.
play games. I'm
Mormons or
just
what?
like maybe, but they all play video games, right? And you have
Okay.
this 13-year-old kid who found this thread on Reddit. He's like, "Hey, do you want to get good at Apex Legends? Click on this link and download and install this. All you got to do is give me your mom's credit card information. Do it when she's drunk on wine at 12 a.m. or like sorry at noon on a Sunday." And he goes, gets the
No, Nick, that's not how that works. It'd
no,
be
I
a
know.
pale ale and maybe the Amish. I'll work with you.
Maybe,
Actually,
maybe.
Amish wouldn't have internet. Shit. Okay. Anyways, your story.
It's just a big family. Anyways, kid
Fucking
gets kid gets the aimbot and he's like, yeah, heck yeah, dude, I'm winning. Look at this, I'm killing all the streamers. Fuck yeah, look at all this cloud I'm getting. And then he gets IP banned. But then his father is like the biggest Apex Legends fan. He's shit, but he enjoys playing the game. And now he's like,
as it turns out.
yeah. And then he's like, why the fuck can I play this game? And he's like, oh, dad, listen about that, you know. So it's like an IP ban would just probably serve to screw like a bunch of people around that area, like or at least in that household.
I've
Um,
actually had a weird random problem where I've gotten banned from phone games before I even gotten to play them, depending on where I'm using my phone. Because if they banned you on based on IP, the IP is your phone service,
Right.
and it like typically you don't have a unique phone service IP. And so if I'm in a certain area where somebody got banned for a game and I'm using my phone signal there, it'll be like, hey, you can't use this. Your IP has been banned. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'll move 10 miles and it's like, hey, welcome to the party, baby. I'm like,
right.
okay, I guess I can't play in that one spot.
Right. So having players' bullets heal instead of kill, I like that.
Do you? Or
Yeah.
like if you shoot them, it does no damage, but it makes them do more damage. So you can't see that they're going up in health, but they're just you can't seem to hit them, and whenever you do, they fuck you up more.
So you're buffing and buffing them and debuffing yourself.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. Um, or when you go to melee them, if you decide that your weapons aren't working and you don't know why, you go to melee them. You give them like a fractional upgrade. So like one punch. No, how do I phrase this? Let's say they have white armor in Apex. You have white, blue, purple, gold, right?
Okay.
And you need to get hit 4 times for you to go up 1 tier in armor. And so they're just sitting there whacking away. They're like, why isn't this doing anything? And then all of a sudden his armor upgrades.
Is the game third person or first person?
First person.
Okay, can you go into third person?
No.
So if you wanted to, the developers totally could put like a hidden note on the back says "kick me, I'm a cheater" or something on the back, and the player would never notice, but anybody else that saw him would.
Yeah, or it could highlight. You could highlight their position on the map.
It's everybody else, but they don't notice that.
Yes.
Oh man, that would be hilarious. Oh my gosh, you do that. Is there mic communications between enemy players and you?
No proxy chat. No.
Okay, so they can't tell each other or tell them that they're being tracked or given out, and so cheaters
And
would just
teammates wouldn't know either, and there wouldn't be like an in-game announcement or anything. It's just everybody else except the team with the member cheating knows where they are, and it doesn't just track him; it tracks his entire party too.
Oh, that's fucked. That's got to suck for the people that are going to play with them. I feel like you do that, but then it auto blocks you from never having to play with that player ever again. Like you just got to do it once. It's just not fair.
Right.
That randoms play with a cheater who to get screwed over all the time. Or maybe
Right.
it just
Okay.
cheaters. Like
Or if it's known cheater, just forces you to go in solo.
I mean, if by yourself, just one person party,
Yeah.
that would be interesting. I feel like that might give it away a little bit.
Well, again, it's just to counteract that. Sure, what if this cheater's queuing up with randoms, and we don't want the randoms to get screwed in the long run and not get discouraged from playing our game? So why don't we force the cheater? Like, if we know he's a cheater and he's flagged, he just goes and loads into all matches solo.
Okay,
He loads into
sure.
all matches solo. He does reduced damage because he's got that little marker turned on his files on his profile. He does half damage at the very least, and everybody knows his location at all times.
I feel like if you throw him solo, then he knows he's been marked. So honestly, I'd just rather give him AIs
That's true.
just throw grenades at the ground and just kill themselves instantly. So he's automatically by himself. But it looks like
That's
there are
true.
other players.
Because what happens a lot of the times is you'll have a full fire team or a full party, and one of them is cheating, and then the other two aren't. They're just like regular, they're just there. They're friends of his, I guess.
If you saw playing by himself, I would give him just an AI that just automatically disconnect as soon as the game starts.
Right. But I think Respawn did it right with at least starting something like this, where they're having them queue into their own lobbies, and then I just wonder how the matches are going to be like. Because if you have everybody with perfect aim, who's going to die? Or how fast are people going to die? How fast is the match is going to be? So I'd really like to see one of these matches.
Is there a currency?
There is an in-game currency, yes.
Every time you fire a gun, it costs them 10 of that currency.
Well, again, but then these people don't care because they're probably playing with a fake account anyway, so they won't have any of the in-game currency.
Sure.
Yeah. Because I like that because there's a what is it called in Risk of Rain? You have like ultimate weapons, and one of them is called the Payday or something. I can't remember. And the more money you have, basically the money fuels that gun. So when you get to like the end game levels, because you're just sitting on thousands of like coins on gold, so you can just pop that when you don't need to buy anything and just shred everything.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal. That sounds like fun. All right. Honestly, I'm perfectly okay with IP banning cheaters. And if it's some kid in your household that's cheating and you get IP banned and the father wants to play, father knows how to fix that, I'd like to think. But I think it's the father's responsibility at that point for letting his child play and cheat. And it's up to him to, correct that and make sure that doesn't happen again. But that's just a personal opinion. I respect that. If you want to find a more streamlined way to fix that, because I'm just trying to think. It's like if once a person realizes that they're being screwed over, even the most minute way, they just have to make another account if they're not focusing on the IP.
Right, and that's the issue with same thing with Fortnite cheaters or any other kind of like game that's free and you have people just openly cheating. There's no actual consequences because all they have to do is if they get caught or banned is they just make a new account.
I still think there should be like a paywall, like $3 to $5 or something for Apex. Can you
Oh, so
imagine that?
just to like deter the people making new accounts. That would make sense, but that's not gonna happen.
I
We're in
know
the
it's
free
not
to play live service market right now. It's not gonna happen.
right, right, or just allow you one game account. Like you got to make an Apex Legend or Epic account for it, and you can only have one per IP. So you force them to make a VPN and all that stuff just so they can make another account for that IP and can play on the IP.
Right.
That would lock it. That would DRM your account to that given internet, though, because if you try playing it on a different computer or a different location, that would give you trouble. So I don't know how to feel about that.
Okay, but do you want that, or if you're EA, do you want more people, regardless of how many accounts they're making, just signing on at least once a day and boosting that population, or at least the numbers?
I'm gonna say this is EA in the
Yeah.
end. That is the Darth Sidious in the background.
Because doing that through with the DRM method, that would essentially ultimately go through Origin, and that means EA. And EA has done questionable things before.
No, EA has never. EA is just the pinnacle of hope and justice for video games. Anything else you want to talk about with this, Nick?
No, I just think it's funny. It's fitting. It's
Oh
poetic.
yeah, it's hella funny.
Yeah.
And poetic's a hell of a way to put it. Topic of the show. Nick, this week has been kind of slow for the news week. You and I scoured the internet for something interesting, just to pick up and put on a plaque, but we just couldn't find that one. There's a couple of little news things that have come out there, happy, sad, and all that stuff, but we just couldn't find the one that defined casual
No,
master.
not this week.
And so we decided to just make some more bullshit, which is our trademark quality, style.
Yep.
Topic of the show: a podcast guest dream team, but you use video game characters. So I guess we need to find preferably people that can speak.
You would think.
So just put 4 Pokemon at a table.
Well, I mean, technically, there are some like Alakazam could speak just telepathically because Alakazam, lore-wise, is smarter than a supercomputer.
He does have an IQ of 3,000. Yes.
Right. Or fuck, I'm blanking on names right now. Arceus, because Arceus is a literal god.
True. Technically, Mewtwo does.
Mewtwo as well, technically. Yeah.
The movie. He's a lot of movies with him. Shit. Okay, well, let's not just focus strictly on Pokemon. So, Nick, do you have a list of like podcast guests or a podcast dream team?
One person I'd like. I'm still figuring out like who in general. But one person I think I would enjoy is the Master Chief.
Now, he's not really a talkative person, so I'm curious to see how you are hoping him to open up during this kind of thing.
But he can talk, and that's the key. It's not that because there are characters for various other reasons that they just don't speak at all. Master Chief is just a man of few words. He's more of a man of action, and so I'd like to see how that translates into. I'd like to do instead of a podcast, more of a live stream of him just doing some Bob Ross paintings. I think that would be quite wonderful to see him try to attempt to do that. Ask him questions while we do it, obviously get no answer. Imagine big 6'7" whatever man in a giant suit of armor just standing there with a palette and a brush in his hand, painting some little trees, putting out some little bushes, a little sun, some mountains, a lake.
All right. So how many people? 3, 4, 2, 5?
Let's say 3 to 4.
3 to 4. Okay. So I got an idea.
Okay.
3 people right now.
Okay.
All right. First one, Dr. Eggman.
Okay.
Dr. Eggman has proved that he is an excellent conversationalist with a exquisite internet lingo, especially with Sonic Boom. We've talked about it before.
All right.
Second person, Conquer from Conquer's Bad Fur Day. I feel like he would provide the vulgarity and movie quips that we love and need. And so we got the intelligent, nefarious, hello fellow teenagers character. We got the snarky, witty character. I do like color commentary though. I feel like I'd probably pull Daxter in for the third.
Daxter from Jack and Daxter, who's like
Hell
from
yeah.
one of my favorite game series of all time.
I think he would be an excellent conversationalist about video games.
That would make sense. He, as an Otzel, was able to woo what I will assume is a human female, putting aside the fact that their ears were long as shit. So it would make sense that Daxter is quite the conversationalist.
And lastly, I would say Princess Zelda from Twilight Princess specifically. She's a real down-the-earth, doesn't mind, according to the memes, to talk nasty and realistically. She's the kind that, get the lube, I got the strap on kind of situation.
Right,
and I
right.
feel like she would do well with this kind of people. Plus, I'd like to have a little diversity. Even though one of them is a human that is the shape of an egg, the second person is a squirrel, the third person is a mythical creature I forgot the name of. Nick, help me out. Otzel. And then
an otter
the
weasel
fourth one is a Hylian, half elf, half human fantasy
Right.
style.
Right.
So I think I got some diversity there.
What kind of so let's say you have this team. What kind of topics are we looking at? Like what would you like? And so the idea behind this was when we crafted this was that they've just come from wherever their games are based. They don't know that they're video game characters. They're just like they just knocked on Tyler's door. He's like, "Yo, we're here to record," and Tyler was like, "Oh shit, dude, let's do it."
Let's
And
fucking
so,
do it.
what kind of topics would you?
Okay, so first off, are they agreeing and totally willing? They're knowing that they're on a podcast and they're fine with each other to some extent.
Let's say yes.
Okay, like as long as Dr. Eggman's like, oh, I'm going in this house so I can take over the world or some shit like that. If he's sitting there and he wants to talk, he wants to
Okay,
say
it's their day off, and then they have it's their day off from doing bad guy or good guy shit, and then they're like they got some mythical, magical, technological mail from God knows who's like you've been invited to be a guest on Casual Master Quest.
oh shit, no, this is pure comedy. Then I would find bullshit questions, the most inane bullshit questions, and then ask them, and I would just let the river flow because that's gonna take care of itself. You put a good question in front of Eggman, he's gonna start off with the most ridiculous shit, and then fucking Daxter and oh shit, who was my second? Conquer. I think they would be jumping on that shit. Daxter would be giving the crazy responses. Conquer would be given the wild color commentary, and then Zelda would just give the one line that just kind of
Right.
reaches the hall. She's like, I think I have one of those in my my second library, and it's like, what? I think it would just take care of itself.
Right.
For sure.
I think I'd like to put together a super villain squad.
I was thinking the same thing. That's why I started with Eggman, but I realized I wanted to, go in a different direction. Let's hear it though. What do you got?
No, but obviously they have to be like, the kind of supervillain I think we like. A little suave, a little charismatic, kind of like a little batshit crazy, but like still.
We're like, as a kid, I used to like Batman, but as I grew up, I started agreeing with the Joker kind of characters.
Yeah. Like one of those. This is a hard one because there's a lot of very interesting video game villains, and I'm trying to think of. I'd like to see Dominus Gaul from Destiny 2, the big turd, like for the OG villain.
Big white turd.
Yeah, the OG villain. And I just have to like him sit down and be like, "So, Gaul, how do you feel about this? We do not have time for such mediocrity." And I'm like, "All right, cool, just chill, calm down."
Okay.
Yeah, I just want him to yell at me. Who else? I was thinking of. Do you ever play? Fuck, I can't remember his name now. There is a villain in Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank that's got like he's a robot and he's got like a see-through green like dome skull. and
Ratchet
his
the only character I know is I think Captain Quark.
Captain Quark, and he turns out to be a bad guy in one of the games, and he's working with, I think, is Doctor Nefarious, and Doctor Nefarious wants to turn the entire universe into a robot or life forms because he's the only one, and he's like, if everybody's a robot, then I can control them.
Hmm.
Yes, so Doctor Nefarious, and he fails all the time with all of his hijinks, and Ratchet just screwing things up, and I would like to have Cortana from Halo.
I mean, is she bad?
Well, now she is, yeah. With Halo
is-
5. Yeah. She's turned all the AIs against the humans, and she's about
Okay.
to wipe out the entire fucking universe.
And they want me to have her on my Windows 10. Fuck that shit.
At least she'd be able to find out all the viruses and all your porn and then make sure to help you sort them out, I guess.
No, she would have more of it and tell me I must do what she says. Otherwise, she's going to reveal all the, my history, my internet browsing history to my Twitter feed or some shit like that.
Yeah, we don't want that. And
No.
because
No, we don't.
Cortana, even as a sidekick, she'd always had good sense of humor. Doctor Nefarious is a stupid piece of shit, but at least he makes funny jokes sometimes. And Dominus Gall is just there as the overbearing commander. And I'd like to get them in the room and then have them plan out a wedding. Like on air on an episode, I'd like to have them plan out a wedding because these are people who are masterminds of organizing various coups and things on such a grand level. I'd like to see them plan something delicate.
Huh. Ghoul slash I just knew him as Gaul.
Cool.
Is it Ghoul or Gaul?
It's Gaul, but then we know a ghoul.
Oh. Wait, who's Ghoul?
Brandon.
Oh, okay, that's fine. No, I was not making that connection. Okay, Gaul,
Yeah.
Doctor Nefarious, and Cortana doing a wedding planning.
Yes.
Huh? Do you want to enact that sometime? Because I'm having a very hard time figuring out how that would go. Paint me a picture here, Nick.
Well, you'd probably have Gaul sitting there making sure that everything's like organized and efficient, right? Everything's like laid out properly. Layouts are drawn. There's like a very like specific menu for a specific reason. Then you have Cortana who's kind of like trying to fight with him and just trying to reason him and trying to relax. And
I imagine Gaul taking the dimmer and just changing it up and around. He's like, I control the light. It's like, pick a mood. You need a good moody setting. I control the light.
it'd be the actual wedding or like right before the doors open and you have a random volunteer just staying, changing oh, it's a little too bright here, turns it down. Gaul comes and bitch slaps him out of the way. I control the light.
Look, I thought it was funny.
No, it's funny. And then you have Cortana. Cortana, like lore-wise and in the game, she's based off an actual person, her creator. Used her to imprint herself and make Cortana. So I would imagine she'd be, I'm not saying feminine, but like she'd be the voice of reason because she's a little bit more humanistic, a little bit more humane, yeah. Has some of the more those personality features, so she'd be able to like, listen, you can't just have everybody show up promptly at 6, march in single file, and go into their assigned seating, and they're standing in line according to where their seats are. That's just that's an unrealistic expectation, and
Okay,
so I'd
so-
argue that they're sitting there arguing about that.
When you have a team of an alien from the Cabal,
Yeah.
a robotic being, and then a AI, and your argument is you want one of them to be the most humane because there's some human traces in maybe some of these people, but none of them are human. Nick,
No, but I'm saying that, but that's Cortana's character.
Yeah, I guess. Is it a human wedding?
Okay, well, I say humane in the sense of like, again, going to the example, you can't expect everybody show up at like 6 p.m. promptly, standing in line, walking in single file, standing in line according to where they're going to be seating, and then
Meanwhile,
it's
the cabal are like escorting pairs of people down aisles.
yeah.
holding the
So
gun.
like that's why like she's gonna like you can't. She's gonna bring some looseness to the rigidity of the structure that Gaul's gonna implement, and then Doctor Nefarious. It's been a while since I've
He's the
played the game.
DJ.
That would actually be fucking sick. That's a good idea. He's in charge of the music, and then he's like, "Don't worry, I'll design all of the systems, everything, all the techs, all gonna be good." And then it's just this crazy, gaudy looking, like, what's the word? What's that word where steampunk style looking technology?
Wub dub.
Uh,
Wub.
because in the games, even he's aided by his butler all the time, and his butler's name was Lawrence. Um, so it'd just be Nefarious and Lawrence just trying to act shit out, and there's just failing constantly throughout the day.
Sorry, I was just looking at a picture of Dr. Nefarious to see what he looks like. Yeah, he definitely looks nefarious. And
Yeah.
I feel like he could control the bass like a motherfucker.
Yep. You just plug it in right into his brain, and you just be walking around the entire wedding. He's like, "Oh, you like the music? Don't worry about it. I'll change it. You want something new? All right, got it."
I'm taking requests. But only if you have good taste. Good taste.
Yeah, and I think it's in our nature for both of us to devolve into something more comedic based, and I'd like to see like quote unquote supervillains with plus Cortana, who is a villain, but also because she sees herself as saving humanity. I'd like to see them plan something like a wedding.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Huh.
I think that is a good way to put the ending touch to the topic.
Nice.
It was good. I liked it. That was fun. And if you would like to pitch us, because we are about ideas, especially from people that listen to us. If you got an idea what would be your dream team for a podcast team and what they would be talking about, please hit us up at Master Quest Pod, or just shout it at the void. My favorite dream team of video game characters for this kind of podcast is this. We'd love to hear something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd like to see what people come up with, because there'd be an interesting clash of ideas and clash of personalities.
I'm gonna say, technically, Deadpool is a video game character, so I just imagine somebody saying 4 Deadpools just talking to each other.
That would be interesting. But the problem is, okay, so it's not like, so the problem there is that Deadpool is not an alpha when he's with himself, I would imagine. Because Deadpool is Deadpool. He knows that if there's going to be multiple of him, he knows that he can mess around, and not all of them know they're going to mess around, and they don't have to worry about competing who's going to be in charge of that group.
Right. I think they would just turn into a circus performance at that point. I think
or it'd be like an actual conversation. It wouldn't be like chaos, or maybe it'd be chaos, but then they'd be putting it like they'd be creating chaos on purpose.
It's like 2 of them are having a conversation, and the third one's like, "What are you doing?" And to the fourth, and the fourth is making like a domino stacker around the table or something like that. And he's like,
Right,
what?
right.
And then like when all the dominoes fall, it spells out "fuck you," and everybody laughs.
Exactly, and that seems like that would be funny. Actually, I think I'd listen to a podcast with 4 Ryan Reynolds whispering in my ear. What?
Ooh. But not the video game. I don't think. No, it'd be Nolan North. If you wanted to. Yeah, when Deadpool was in his video game by I think Blue Moon, he was voice acted by Nolan North.
Nolan North is a man of many talents.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree. Honestly, I'd like to see what Nolan North versus Ryan Reynolds on Deadpool, like if they were both to talk separately, what would be like. I think I might. Nolan North is for sure the cartoony-ish version of Deadpool, but Ryan Reynolds gives that more serious feel with a real life action version of Deadpool. Like, I think they both do the job right for their given Deadpools. And I'd like to see what's up.
No, I'm so gonna say it makes sense also because Nolan North he's the voice for the Ghost in Destiny 2, and he replaced Nathan Fillion for Cade 6. So
Nathan Fillion. I thought he replaced the guy that was from Game of Thrones.
yeah. So but then at the end of in Forsaken, Cade 6 wasn't Nathan Fillion.
Oh, Cade 6. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about the Ghost.
Yeah, well, so yeah, he's still the voice of the Ghost, but if Cade 6 was replaced by Nolan North for the entire Forsaken campaign.
Okay.
Yeah. And he did a damn good job at replacing Nathan
Peter
Fillion too.
Dinklage was the person I was talking about.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Peter Dinklage. Yeah, that was from.
Way
Fuck,
back
dude.
in
I don't know how. I think he was just there for the first 2 years, and they couldn't. I guess they couldn't afford to keep him on much longer because I really miss Dinklebot, and a lot of people don't because he didn't have as much intonation and fluctuation in his voice. It was very much like monotonous, kind of like robotic, but I really enjoyed that.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, anyways, like I said, puts a nice finishing touch on the topic. Deadpool had to finish it up there. Nick, do you want to do game releases or this day in gaming?
I don't know any of either of those games in this day in gaming.
Okay, fair enough. Then go ahead and take away the game releases.
All right, so I just want to double check whether this is a new game or not, but we've got Beyond Two Souls coming out on PC July 22nd.
It's definitely not a new game.
It's not a new game, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna say that's a David Cage game.
Sorry, this okay, I was thinking of something else then. Yes, this is a David Cage game. Also, this came out yesterday for people listening on No. Tyler, our episodes come out on Mondays, right?
Yes, which is the
Okay.
22nd, so it would be
Yeah,
today.
okay. Yes. This just came out. Beyond Two. So I got
Nick?
no.
You
I
take
just got really
Tylenol? Are you
confused.
okay?
I wasn't.
Is there
I
almond?
counted days wrong. No, I'm okay.
Are you
Tyler.
drinking almond tea? Because you got to watch
No.
out for that almond. That's
No,
cyanide.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Beyond Two Souls, July 22nd comes out on PC. I'm pretty sure this is coming out on Steam, maybe. I'm only going on this because there's a lot of like Heavy Rain Heavy Rain just came out on the Epic Store.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Or
Then-
is going to come out in the Epic Store. So like I think Epic's like taking over the market by storm, really, like working with a lot of devs and coming up with exclusives.
So fun fact, I wanted to put those out here. Beyond Two Souls PC demo is actually, it came out on the Epic Game Store. So when it's coming out, I'm assuming it's going to be coming out for
Okay.
Epic.
Okay, so it's gonna be on the Epic Store. Then we've got Raiden 5 Director's Cut, July 25th on the Nintendo Switch.
And I also want to point out that Beyond Two Souls came out in 2013 for the PlayStation 3, and then it got re-released. Also was free for a little bit on PS Plus around the same time Detroit Become Human for the PlayStation 4. So yeah, it's a 6-year-old game. Let's get
Right.
a re-release. Anyways, you were saying,
Yeah, Raiden 5 Director's Cut is a port to the Switch. It's a game that came out in 2016. It's a shoot 'em up game in the Raiden series. That's what Google's telling me.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
So
We've got Fire Emblem Three Houses coming
Holy
out on the
shit.
Switch on July 26th.
that's
is this
coming
a new
out.
game or a
This is a new ass game. This is the newest
Okay.
game in the Fire Emblem series.
Yes, then
And-
according to the internet, this is coming out this week, Tyler.
This is the first time a Fire Emblem game has, unless you count Fire Emblem Warriors, like the Warrior series, which I don't. This is the first time it's come out for a console since the Nintendo Wii, and it was
Okay.
like very early in the Wii. Like it's been like 7, 8 years since this came out for the console, and so a Fire Emblem game coming out for the Switch, that's a pretty big thing. I'm scared because I don't know if that's just one game or if they're going to split it apart like another time they did it for the 3DS, Birthright versus Conquest, and then there's the optional third DLC pack if you did the other two, I believe, which was
Right.
a horrible idea. That was fucked up. But yes, I'm hoping this is something to get excited for. Nick, this is, if you liked, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's essentially like if you're the play D&D, except it's combat only all the time with
Okay.
cutscenes free. And
Okay.
I love the shit out of it. The style is great.
Maybe it's time to give Fire Emblem game a try. But yes, two more games on the list. We've got Kill La Kill If coming
If.
out July 26th. PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
Oh.
It is a fighting game and seems to be, one of those fighting games like Jump Force, just translating straight from the anime. Yes.
There is. I wish there was a fighting game for this one series. I think it would be great.
Which one?
I think it'd be fun to have a fighting game for the Kingdom Hearts series.
What, Kingdom Hearts 3 wasn't enough for you?
Well,
you want more now? What about 3.1? 3.2 HD remake.
That's the DLC that's coming out.
3.9 XD.
XD. Oh boy.
Yeah, because it's serious shit then when they put the XD at the end.
Okay, Nick. There's a lot of characters that I think a Dragon Ball Z Budokai fighting style game between the two of them would be fun.
Right. That makes sense. No. That makes sense for a game with as vast a series like Kingdom Hearts or even like Final Fantasy with all the different characters that they have.
Right. And Final Fantasy does have a it's called Final Fantasy Dissidia. It's had quite a bit of series for the PSP and Vita where the heroes and villains of Final Fantasy games, you can play and fight against each other. And it's fun to some extent, except the fact that I never got to play it because anytime they were out, I didn't have this console. And I have one on the wall. Please don't actually send it to me for the love of God. I don't want to play it. I don't want to play Vita.
You'll just pin it to the wall again.
I'll just tape it right above it.
Right. And the last game on this list, which is another big game for this week, actually, Wolfenstein Youngblood comes out July 26th as well. PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. This is the newest entry into their series, and I'm pretty sure this is the one where you play as the women hackers, or the one hacker, and it's a Wolfenstein game.
I do believe it has both female protagonists. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So this seemed pretty exciting when they showcased more of it at E3. But yeah, this is finally out. Tyler,
if I may ask a question, have you ever played a Wolfenstein game?
No, I have not.
I haven't either, and I honestly have been wanting to make the jump on something like that. So I wonder if
Youngblood's the time for it.
Yeah, do you think Wolfenstein like Youngblood, can you jump in on something like that, or do you think this is the kind of game where you'd have to start from the beginning? Not from the very beginning, because they go way back.
I'm pretty sure Wolfenstein Youngblood is telling a new story set in the same universe, so you might need to have played the other ones or know the story from the other ones to understand or pick up on a few things. But I'm pretty sure this is a spin-off, essentially. Like when they did the spin-off with the other protagonist for the Nathan Drake series, right? Or is that a main game? I can't remember.
You talking about Lost Legacy?
Yes.
That was technically almost a complete spin-off. I mean, you would have to play the other games to understand why these female characters are important, but other than that, completely separate storyline.
Yeah, so I would imagine it's something like that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because these are new characters that they've introduced, and it is also a co-op.
Man, Lost Legacy was. Wait, what?
Yeah, Youngblood's a co-op.
Ooh, Nick.
Hi. Come talk to me after August 2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll remember that. Tyler will remember that. Plus, so hopefully it'll be like half off at that point. I'm just kidding. Let it be a great game because I don't want. Anyways, this game.
This gay and daming, dude.
Yep, this gay and daming. Matt Damon. For some reason, I just had that stuck in my head. Anyways, this day in gaming for July 22nd for the day the podcast comes out. I found two games. One is Starbound, which came out on PC this day in 2016. So Starbound, which is the by the company that made Terraria. This is their lead up game. It's now 3 years old. So happy birthday to Starbound. I'm sorry that you weren't the best game. I cheered you on. And then the other one I could find was Goof Troop, which came out for the SNES or the Famicom in this case because it came out in Japan this day in 1994, which makes this game 25 years old. Holy smokes. Goof Troop is 25 years fucking old. That's an old ass game, Nick.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up. That's a long time ago.
Yeah. What year were you born, Nick? 93?
95.
No. Goof Troop is older than you?
Yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Time to collect your social security.
Your wife's a year older than me.
Yeah. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Don't say that too loud.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, you can find me on Twitter at 2timestyler. All letters, all one word. Nick, where can we find you?
This is going to be a challenge.
Yes, this is an updated version.
Yes. You can find me on Twitch and Instagram at LR11. But on Twitter, I am LRD11. So LRTHEELEVEN. That's where you can find me on Twitter.
That's a lot of different words. So is that
no,
like
wait, no, I'm pretty sure it's different. I'm pretty sure it's LR the 11th. So I don't remember it now. Yes, it's LR the 11th.
Follow us on Twitter at MasterQuest Pod because I apparently need to update the information on that now because I'm pretty sure it's just tagging some non-existent character on Twitter, and we'll make sure to get you the good stuff. And that is at MasterQuest Pod. You can also email us at casualmasterquest@gmail.com, or you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Casual Master Quest.
Yep.
Excuse me.
But
That was a fun episode, Nick.
that was fun. Nice and laid back, a little funny, a little chill, a little bullshitty. Sounds like us.
All right, Nick. I think that's it. Let's wrap up the show. Let's play some Splatoon because Splatoon is happening this weekend. Chaos versus
Fest.
Final fucking one. Holy shit. And then next week we got the guest, Glenn Houston, coming onto the show. It's going to be a fun time. Thank you guys. See you next week. And don't forget to never stop the grind. Bye-bye. Nick's shaking violently. Super violent. I haven't stopped the broadcast.